of course, after hopping outside, and she'll turn back around to face the bar, just in case somebody gets some of the belligerent brutes decide to get the idea to follow.
Mm-hmm.
For although she doesn't want to fight, she's more than capable in one, as has been seen. Anywho, she will simply wait, and I'm guessing she'll probably see the older man follow out after her
Yep.
if she turns around to face the bar.
All right. So now we have this white-haired man come out. Why don't you give a? I want you to narrate your entrance. I guess it's really an exit from the tumbled wench, but narrate your entrance onto the stage here in front of everyone. Describe what we see as audience members as you emerge from the tumbled wench. Volvo.
You see this very tall old man, or he seems old. While he's walking out, he pauses for a moment to ponder, and right before he walks out, he steps over a man that's fell right in front of him, exiting the tumbled winch.
Uh-huh.
While he walks, he has a very noble stature. His clothing is very fine. It's a mixture of a burgundy and goldish color. His face it looks quite old, but you can tell that he's has some experience in combat and the ocean.
Do you just step over the fallen man? Do you do or say anything, or do you just continue on?
I look at the man that's fallen right in front of me and is like, I see people still do not have grace during these times. And I continue walking over the drunken person that's just fallen in front of me.
Okay, he just kind of like groans and is trying to get back up for whatever reason. You emerge outside then. The cool kiss of the night air touches you, and there you see, actually off to the side, you actually see two Imperial sailors that are seemingly having a bit of a conspiratorial talk. However, in front of you is this very pale woman who is very serene in appearance. Let alone it'd be meta knowledge, but she has this magical aura of serenity and grace about her. But there she is standing outside, looking as she described, and you may continue.
Okay. I stride up to her and say, "'Tis quite a nice night for a brawl, isn't it?"
Quite. I would say, however, that tact is something that people very much lack these days, and finesse even more so.
It is indeed. I find it that it is wiser to sometimes leave a fight instead of getting involved.
It is why I am out here.
Yes, and I think that you and a few of your friends might be up to a little task that I need completed. If you're willing to do it, of course.
Business, you say?
Indeed.
From the inside of the tavern, you hear two people that are arguing about wine and hot peppers, and if they don't actually come to blows, then they are very passionate wine drinkers who are about ready to get into it. So with that as some background music, continue your conversation.
Celine will take a simple glance towards the bar that the two had just left, and she just sighs and shakes her head. It's like, business, you say? Now, what is this business that you wish to transact?
Well, I'm here on a little personal business, but up north there is the flower fields. It has a strange magic to it. I am looking for a few people to investigate that. Preferably some samples that I need acquired.
Sampling and study. These are things that I can do in spades. My compatriots, with the exception of the small little pink-haired gnome, and possibly the if you saw her earlier, I don't know where she's gotten off to, but a smaller woman, human hair fallen down around her face, and
Ah,
some
A bottle of wine crashes against the wall that you're closest to, like from the inside. But you do hear a wine bottle break.
um, is the door of the bar is the door of the temple bunch open?
Uh, Probably a crack. It's definitely not barred or locked or anything.
Okay, because if Celine saw the bottle of wine fly through the air and shatter on the ground, she'd mumble something about a waste of perfectly good wine. But she turns like, I can do this. I'm sure that my pink head and my two other female compatriots could also do this. Um, as speaking for the two males of our group, however, they are more of the, how you say, physical types.
It's about at this point that you hear an "Ah!" as it sounds like one of the two males in the group might have just got his kidney stirred up a little bit.
Um, would I have been around them enough to identify which one of the two male compatriots it is?
Given how guttural it is, in the fact that you probably heard something similar when you're at the arena with him earlier in the day, there's a very good chance that your good friend, the Silver Dragonborn Tazray, just got into a bit of a fighting mood, or has been involved in a fight.
I hope and pray in the name of Ouijas that he's not bleeding out all over the floor. Or maybe he is. Either or. Frankly, both work well for me.
When you and when you and I'm sorry, has this stranger introduced himself?
nope.
Okay, you don't have to. I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything here that that would spoil. So as you do look back towards the sound, you see that of the two sailors, one of them has just broken away from the other, like kind of like tugging the arm, and looks like he's about ready to actually not even just he's going back in the door because they're not that far away, and so he is leaving behind the female sailor as the male one heads back inside. And as the door swings open, Celine and Jade, you can each make a perception.
Okay, perception.
Yep, just a straight up perception. The Jade is a 17. Nice. Okay. You two see as this male sailor like pushes in the door. You can see that you have Tazray, whose back is kind of arched, and there's a man with long blonde hair. He's not wearing a shirt, and he has a tattoo spread across his chest. And he has, and you see that he's pulling out a knife from Taz's side, and Taz just sort of like sack of potatoes or a plate of peas, really. So just like a plate of peas in a bar fight, Taz falls. And actually, you did pretty well. Raphael is standing next to the blonde man.
Okay.
Now, Celine. Yeah, I don't. You don't know this is Jade unless she's revealing herself. But I'm in meta. In meta, I'm getting you two involved so you could do whatever you're gonna do.
Alright.
So let's, Celine, since the camera was on you still, let's. What are you doing in the immediacy of this?
The first thing is like, she'll turn to the old man, and she'll go, "What is your name, sir? It seems that my attention is required inside, so that I can find you and we can discuss this business after my dragonborn compatriot is not bleeding out all over the floor, and I can discover what's going on, and to make sure that that Shadahar sailor doesn't get murdered, because everything is tense as is. We don't need a death on our hands."
Ah, yes. How rude of me. I forgot. My name is Siphoenix. Nice to meet you, madam. And I bow to you.
Sphinx, how unique. She would bow back. "I am Selene, the mistress of death. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must tend to tend to what is going on."
Of course.
And with that, she will actually bow in a "give me just a few moments" kind of gesture before going to head inside.
Okay. So you're gonna head inside. Um, and Volvo, for the sake of pronunciation and consistency, can you spell out your character's name in the chat here for us?
Yes.
Jade. Selena's going inside. What are you choosing to do?
I have to enter not to help my compatriots. They She ends up going inside. She's looking for her contact, the individual that has to be met, has to know. She would know this woman from a odd hairstyle, odd, the only one, and sure enough, her eyes fall upon this pink flag upon her head. That's who needs to be spoken to.
Okay. Are you still in sailor form, or are you like ducking behind a bush, or kind of doing a Clark Kent to Superman? Are you going back to Jade?
No, no, she needs to end up using this confusion.
Okay.
She is trying to end up taking this confusion as everybody else seems to be making a scene, so she tries to stay out of the way along the outer walls, trying to end up making her way towards this individual. Hopefully, she can end up getting to her second contact upstairs.
Okay. And then Siphonix, you are outside. What are you doing?
Pardon me again.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, as you, Celine, you see it, but obviously you are making a beeline towards Taz, and Jade, as you slink inside the door, you can see that you can see where there is this crash bottle of wine, but it sounds like the two voices, the two voices that have been arguing very, very loudly about wine and quality and whatnot. Despite the fact that there's still kind of a bar fight going on, these two people have settled down and are apparently having a wine tasting going on in the corner. If nothing else, just this nice little bit of civility amid a a complete ruckus. So we're now back in. Everyone is now back inside the tumbled wench, and you can see that Doc, if you can bring up our instigator, you can see that there is a man sitting at one end, and Raphael is at his right hand, and has been protecting him from any errant flying green peas, bottles of wine, fists, and so forth. Despite him very able to, he seems able to defend himself, as he one-shot Tazray with a very expert dagger between some ribs, causing our Silver Dragonborn to collapse, and he has some frothy blood on his lips and kind of even coming out his side. So Celine, or actually Fluffy, is right there. Fluffy and Raphael, you're both kind of, you're flanking this blonde man with the chest tattoo. You're over. Tazray has just fallen. You two can interact with each other or with the bar or whatever you'd like to do, but let me get the spotlight to you, as we'll have then Celine come up after you have your interaction.
Well, at the close of the last session, I had asked Raphael if he knew what was going on to respond, or if he chose to.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I responded to that.
Well, go ahead and do so. We'll pick up where we left off. So Raphael, Bright came up to you and is asking you what's going on.
All I know is that a bar fight started, and I was charged with protecting this guy here. That's pretty much all I know.
Okay, well, that's more than I knew, so thanks. Do you mind if I stay here?
Go for it.
Bright, do you have any interactions with the blonde man or any of his other compatriots, or are you going to try and tend to the fallen Tazray?
You know, I can't really do any of those things. But I guess the thing that I would do would be to tend to Tazray as best as I'm able. I don't have medicine proficiency or a healer's kit, so I can't do much. But
that's fine.
I would do what I can.
You can like brush his cheek and tell him that everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna need a deception. Just kidding.
Lol.
All right. So Fluffy Bright is going to be doing that. Raphael, there's going to be a couple other attacks as the fight is continuing, but kind of spreading out. People are quickly falling unconscious, especially because about half a dozen people were caught up in Taz's frost breath, and that really caught a bunch of people's attention and kind of cooled the place down. But there's a lot of others who are hot-blooded. So what I'm going to do, because you're there and you have the protection fighting style, correct? Because you're second level. You went with protection, if I recall correctly, didn't you?
That's the +1 AC with armor, I think.
No, protection is you can, if you're using a shield, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack made against a creature other than you within 5 feet.
No, I took defense.
Oh, you're defensive.
Defense.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you went protection. Okay. Nope. That's fine. We'll still roll with how things were going then. So you're there, and you are able to. You can still give an aid to your head chef, to your employer. To the man whom you were bodyguarding in exchange for some information on vampires. And let's see if you're able to successfully do so. Okay. Yep. So a couple swings come his way, and So not through the protection feature, but by the fact that you can give him an aid in some way. Watch out, to your right. Your boss is he does appear very capable and nimble. However, he's waiting for your instruction, and he does seem, much as you see in the picture, despite all of this happening around him, he's observant. He fixes his eyes on targets, and you, despite being his employee, are watched by him as well. And he has been listening to your directions and how you've carried yourself. And especially with these last couple rolls here, you've given him some really good advice. He may still have acted, but he was waiting for your command. So he gives you an approving nod, and now we come over to Celine walking up onto the scene. Oh, it looks like my D20 is working again. Okay, there we go. Celine comes up, and this is what you have going on. Bright is crouched. Well, I don't know how much she has to crouch, but Bright is by Tazray, who's laying on the floor. And Raphael is acting as a bodyguard for this blonde, shirtless man.
Well, first things first, I'm going to kneel down and I'm going to examine Tazray and examine his wounds. And yes,
he really only has the one, but it's a hell of a wound.
Does it look like it was made with quite a large amount of precision? As if, someone knew the person who struck him knew to strike there to deal the most damage?
Medicine. Give me a medicine.
Right, medicine. Medicine?
Yes. This was very much a surgical strike. This was, it's one incision meant to... it wasn't meant to kill outright necessarily, though it could very well be fatal. It was definitely meant to drop him. And you're in an out of character sense for any of you who might have seen Gangs of New York. This strike was like Bill the Butcher, if you're familiar with that character. There's really just the one injury, and despite this big tough silver dragonborn, expert, that blade slid up between the ribs and did its job.
Yes, quite.
Help him? I'm trying to do my very best, but I don't know how to do this, and you're so much better at it than I am. And then you can see, his clothes have been torn up, and I'm trying to make bandages, but they're just going every which way. And there's a mage hand that's trying to apply pressure to the wound, but it's really just poking into his ribs, and it's just a disaster.
It is quite all right, Bright. I have this under control, and I'm going. I'm actually not going to spend. I'm actually not going to spend my. I'm actually not going to spend a first level spell slot to cast Cure Wounds. I'm just going to spare the dying him.
Okay. So, spare the dying. You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. The creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead or constructs. Well, fortunately, you do not detect that he is an undead or a construct, as he just kind of groans, gives a shudder, and is still. But he is still breathing. Bright, as you're trying to apply these bandages, his chest wound just sort of makes a really kind of a lewd, like a fart sound, and then all the foam just kind of instantly crusts up into a scab.
I look up and say, "Okay, that's better. I'll stop now."
Yes, he won't be dying so much right now. But that is only one part of this. This will be when she will look up to Raphael and the guy that he is guarding. Because she saw Tazray frost everybody. She's like, which one...
Oh, go ahead.
She was, which one of you struck him?
Wasn't me. I've been too busy protecting this guy right here.
Who is this guy right here?
Guy I'm supposed to protect.
He looks at you, Raphael, and he says, "Is that any way to speak of your boss?"
You're my boss for a day. Get over it.
Oh, wow, okay.
The day is not yet done, Raphael. You still owe me service. I'm the one who felled your friend. He tried to approach me and take a swing. I'm very actively being passive in this fight.
Fair enough. You know your anatomy well. That was quite the surgical strike you performed.
Well, I am the head chef of the Tumbled Wench. I should hope I know my cuts of meat.
Celine is still wearing her mask, but under it, this flash of an almost twisted grin would cross her features. But of course, it wouldn't be shown from like on the outside of her mask.
Do you care a
Before
lick
she-
about this creature at my feet?
It's like, well, that is why I stabilized him.
Then
He
remove
is-
him from the floor, or his injuries might reopen.
Oh, I am quite aware. But he is but a simple creature with simple instincts. I mean, I'm sure you saw that as he let out his
Could you just help me
particular-
drag him over to the side?
Yes,
Just over to the
he's
side
a
of the
beast
room.
that belongs in the arena. Now, would you kindly get him off my floor?
Celine is going to turn to Raphael and go, mind giving us a hand? He's heavy, and I'm not the strongest.
Ma'am,
To drag him, and I can't lift him at all.
Raphael
It's
is mine.
nothing.
She just
Maybe we can work together.
lets out this deep sigh of being just completely and totally done. It's like, right, turn him so the wound is facing upwards, and we will slowly move him across the floor. We don't want those wounds to reopen.
So I do that. I mean, I'll take your directions here.
Yep, and we'll both move him. But no, I asked Raphael for help because I have a strength of 8. Not really
Raphael
good
is
for picking
otherwise
people up.
occupied.
Yes,
Me
he
too.
is.
All right, are you taking him outside? You taking him up to a room? Where are you taking him?
We probably
Get him up
would
to his room if we can get him up the steps.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Bright, I want you to give me an athletics.
I will be assisting with this athletics check because
Like asking Kazray for history, right?
Kind of, yes. Hey, look at that. Okay,
Whoa,
so Bright, you have the feet, and the feet are fine. Celine, you have the head. I want you to make an athletics straight up. And the reason why I'm not
Okay.
letting you combo is because he's a big guy and both of you are kind of weak. So you're each getting a half of him, and we're going to see how you handle it.
Fair enough.
Okay. So that's definitely enough that his head's not going on each of the wooden steps as you're going up 3 flights of stairs.
I'll go backwards up the steps. I have short legs, so it's more convenient for me.
Oh, yeah, so he's actually kind of being level as you're going up the steps, huh?
Yeah, actually, that's actually true. Oh, that's great.
Okay, so Jade, let's catch you up in this. And as you're re-entering, the 2 people who are otherwise having a calm conversation about wine in the corner, one of them starts getting just violent and swings with a big haymaker. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to try and duck out of the way of this haymaker. As just anyone and anything is gonna get caught up in it.
That's 13.
Okay. It comes really close, like it kind of whiffs against you. Actually, you have you're using the alter self spell, right? Or no, not alter, disguise self, right? Or not the spell. That's right, the
disguise self,
invocation. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the the merchant otherwise would have doing this big haymaker would have like caught a robe, like a big sleeve or some sort of like or your long hair or something. I don't know if the merchant necessarily noticed, but because they seem to still be going at each other. There's even someone else who's now getting into the argument about what wine is and how fine and whatnot it is. But you definitely felt kind of a tug as things are close quarters, and your spell, your disguise self spell, does get interacted with, and kind of like gives a kind of like a little shimmer, or like, you know, it shows that there's been a disruption of something that shouldn't be there. But you still manage to avoid taking any sort of damage, and things are still confused. The other events are going to play out as they will. Is there anything in addition that Jade wanted to do to interact here?
The Imperial woman ends up taking the time to sneak her way through the crowd. Not that she's trying to avoid being sight, but she just away from the action. Mostly because she has something else on her mind. What looks at the Imperials, who she can only imagine are lying unconscious, if not getting stomped outright. And she ends up seeing her contacts carrying this individual, a perfect opportunity when they're slowed. So as this Imperial woman, well-dressed, very clean-cut, starts to walk up the stairs,
Yes.
just trying to bypass, she leans in as though she lost her step for a moment near Bright, and ends up saying, "The Imperials are moving contraband. See me in room, I believe 3, it was argued.
You were in 213, if I recall.
Find me in room 213. And moves on, like as if nothing else. Covert messages from an Imperial soldier.
Well, Bright, I mean, you're hauling Taz upstairs.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't respond to that. I would, if anything, I would just kind of give an imperceptible nod.
Jade, you do not perceive this nod.
No. At this point, this Imperial woman ends up going into the room, unlatching it, and proceeds to sit on the bed, drawing a dagger from her uniform, perhaps, and placing it under the pillow as she awaits the second contact she's expecting tonight. She's kind of looking across the room, and she's wondering, why did somebody remove the mirror and place it on the table?
You all retreat upstairs, and this is going to leave Raphael downstairs with the head chef. And Siphonix, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Okay. Where are you going here as I'm wrapping up the evening in the Tumbled Wench? What are you doing? Where are you going?
He would be probably going to his room as well in the Tumbled Winch.
Okay. Okay. So be it. You do so. Raphael, this leaves you and the head chef downstairs. When the others have left, your boss stands up, both hands come down hard on the wooden table. That's enough! Everyone out for the night! And with a kind of a...
I turned to leave.
And he gives a little signal. He asks you and the others who are also shirtless with tattoos to start removing people from the Tumbled Wench.
Damn it. All right.
Doing so isn't going to be too troublesome. I mean, a couple people are going to take swings on you. I mean, what's your AC? 18?
19.
19? Oh, yeah, that's right, because you did go defense here, so let's... Okay. So, I mean, a couple people, like, take drunken swings on you, and one of them goes, ah! And as you just see, like, his skin split on his knuckles, and you can see his knuckle bones. and he must have cracked something as he tried to punch you, and just he caught you, and you're in bodyguard mode, right? It's actually acceptable for you to be in arms and armor given what you're doing right now. So he ends up breaking his hand, and he calls you a bunch of names. You're already a tiefling. I mean, I don't know what would make you blush, but who's going to know anyway? And so he stumbles out and kind of spits, and everyone is getting everyone's getting shuffled out. At this point in time, your boss is going to ask you to grab a mop, as well as the rest of the crew. And he wants you to start cleaning, but he specifically wants you to clean over in one corner that he's going to be sitting in so he can talk to you for a bit. And are you complying?
Yep.
Okay. So what is going to take place, and I can give you... This is information I can give you on the side, and or I'll speak through your mouth if it becomes immediately necessary. He is going to make good on his promise to give you a little bit more information on the suspected vampire infestation that's going on. You're cleaning, you've performed a service, the night is over, and he is making good on his end of the bargain. He has also complimented you on your service. In addition, actually, do this. Make a... He's asking to do these tasks. Make a performance as you're doing these menial tasks. You're mopping, you're picking up broken glass. I don't know. You're collecting teeth. If you collect teeth, then you can have a good pocket full of them. A couple of them got knocked out of people's mouths. Okay. So it's been a day. You're doing the tasks, but you might not have service with a smile. Even if you think you are, he sees that you are you're being a little grumpy puss right now. And at some point he tells you just stop. You're gonna make a bigger mess. You're distracted. Sit down.
All right. I grab the nearest chair and sit down.
Now, aside from this background information that he's been feeding you as you've been mopping and sweeping and picking up, what's your deal? Be straight with me.
What do you mean?
Well, from what I understand, you roll into town, you go to the Surly Girl of all places, from what my boys tell me, and you end up working for me for a day, and you're willing to get yourself into a fight. What's your deal? What are you looking for? No one else is here, and he sweeps his hand around.
Well, to be honest, I'm looking for a guy.
You found a guy.
Well, more than just a guy. I'm looking for a person. No one knows his name. No one knows who he is. But apparently he'll show up at wherever help is needed, and he'll help them and just leave. Nothing said, nothing done, just leave.
It sounds like you're pursuing a ghost. A man who just shows up when people need help? Isn't that what you're doing?
It might be a ghost, might not be. I don't know. There are legends of him in my town, but that's all I could find of him is legends. So I've been looking for him ever since.
How dedicated are you to this cause?
Well, I became a gladiator just to go find the guy. It allows me to travel the world, have some expenses, and at least hear some gossip to see if anything pops up.
That does seem true. I don't believe you're lying to me. I'd have picked it up. I get a lot of people come through, think that they're tough, and then when it actually comes time for them to prove as much, they don't have it. In fact, I can even tell you. Well, you know that silver fellow I dropped back there, right?
Yeah?
Well, it wasn't personal, it was business. And I'd appreciate you telling him as much when he finally wakes up, if he ever does.
Alright, fine. Next time you do that, though, it's going to be your head.
Oh, I've heard that as well too many times before. Hopefully it won't come to it, for this night you're still in my employment. And, if you wish to be paid, your boss still needs to be alive.
Yeah. Can't earn gold without at least the person living.
Raphael, I
Have
think...
you
Oh, what's that?
Have you never met an assassin before? It's like, to get paid, the person has to be alive.
Raphael, I wish you well. I can't help you with your journey, though I know a great many things. Or rather, even if I could, I'm not in the position to do so right now. You may not want to go chopping the heads off of people that just upset you a little bit, though. Expert advice. From someone, again, who's had his head threatened to be removed on many occasions. What you might want to do, Raphael, think about things tonight. Think about who you are. Think about what you want. How are you going to get what you want in this world, Raphael? A man has to live by a code of some kind. Even if that code takes him into not the prettiest places and dealing with not the best faces. You should come up with something. Don't just drift. Oh, the drifters. Vagabonds. They wind up in the gutter. They wind up in the sea. They wind up 6 feet in the ground. Or they just blow around on the wind, being eroded. Nothing better than a tumbleweed to society. I'm going to release you from your duties. You've served me well, Raphael. And if anything else, you don't have to report back to me. But please, I want you to think. You're a man who seemingly has some great potential, some great skill ahead of him. Come up with a set of vows for yourself to live by. And stick to them. And you might just keep your head a little while longer as well.
Alright. I'll take your advice and I'll ponder on it. I've got some advice for you, too. Just don't go stabbing people whenever they take a swing at you. It's a bar fight, for God's sakes.
It is, but I was dealing with an animal. You saw what he did back there.
Yeah, that's true.
If it wasn't for the act of some god out there, I'm sure those people would have been dead. And he makes a it's not flippant, but he does make a dismissive hand motion, and he stands up and he grabs the mop that you were using, and he begins cleaning up after dismissing you. So what we will do here is the evening has concluded in its own ways. Jade, I'm actually going to have one further interaction with you as well. But to wrap things up here, Raphael, in meta terms, from me as your DM to you as my PC, you are on the cusp of level 3. And what I really would like to see from you is you earned your fighting style at this level 2 tier already. You know, defensive, protection. I mean, it was kind of two sides of the same coin. As you are going to be approaching level 3 as a paladin, if it's not to a faith, then to yourself. But what I want you to do is think about the vows you are going to take as a paladin. And use the PHB as a good reference. But I would like you to craft your vows as a paladin. And you can roleplay through it. I mean, you're not going to be level 3 when you wake up here in... Pardon, I seem to have hiccups. You're not going to be level 3 when you wake up. You don't need it immediately. but what I'd like you to do is think about your paladin vows, okay?
All right.
And then, so the rest of you get up, and Jade, you can have your interactions, but I did want to have one more with you as well, Jade, specifically. And then if you wanted to do some side RP or something with Bright or another, we can do that. But I want to move things along at a slightly brisk pace here to get through this scene. Jade, as you enter your room, Bright has taken Tazray to 302, and you're in 213. You have in your room a what is it? A wash basin, right? It has some water in it. It's by the window, so you can wash your face or your hands or whatever. It's not your chamber pot. This is a legitimate, just a wash basin. And as you enter the room, once more, kind of this, you're seeing there's moonlight that's coming in through the window, and it's making this ripple. Well, as you get that kind of, I'm not an artist. I don't know the effect. I'm calling it a reflection. But you know how kind of like it's a long, like an isosceles triangle as it goes like further away from the source. So you're getting like this long isosceles triangle of moonlight, floating on like rippling at the top of your water dish, which would make sense. The window's open. There's a little bit of a breeze coming in. However, this two-dimensional moonlight triangle peels itself up out of the wash basin, and it still looks two-dimensional, yet it's still rippling at the same time. And it appears as if this little tendril that you saw before in the as you're going through the marketplace to the port to go visit Quarantine, this tendril has revisited you and is now the color of shimmering moonlight.
She leans into the basin, looking at it, just uncertain. It extends her hand to it a bit. She remembers it was crawling on her before they were interrupted, but now they're not interrupted. So, and didn't hurt last time, she thinks, did it? Maybe. No. So she places her hand upon it.
When you make contact, you hear, but not with your ears. You hear through touch. And you feel through taste. You're just touching with your hand, and yet your tongue is cold, and you're hearing with the skin on your fingertips, and your senses are as fluid as this tendril, and through it you are hearing whispers of something, both in like an inhaling and an exhaling, speaking normally in reverse, and speaking sideways. You don't even know how you're comprehending. The words are approaching you sideways. Your skin ripples as you're reverberating the sounds, and you're feeling, you're seeing now. You're seeing with let's see, where did we did taste, we did touch. You're seeing with your ears. Your skin kind of ripple and bubble, but not in a horrid putrefaction. Just in a way like you are becoming liquid, like the water in the basin. And at a moment there's let's say next door someone slams the door and like, and or even like, oh, that was quite the brawl indeed. And there's people around, and suddenly the water just kind of it goes back to being water again. Your arm is wet and not bubbly. The voices stop on your tongue. You know, the smells stop in your eyeballs. All this other kind of weird interaction. But you do see remaining on your skin is almost like a vague outline of a pattern. It's like being, well, it would be like being more tan, or almost like having a tattoo of a natural melanin color for jade. And it's indecipherable, but some kind of a mark has been left on you where this tendril had made contact.
I understand. I understand.
As you speak the words, your arm does kind of tingle and bubble slightly, like you're getting a reaction of some kind. In a meta sense now, like stepping back as DM to PC, this is something that this is your charge. Just like I've given Raphael a project. Raphael is making his paladin vows that he is earning at level 3. Jade is about ready to blossom into a beautiful warlock in a full manner by receiving a gift from her patron. And I would like this to be some kind of a prompt or a setup, in so much as I understand what your character's direction was. But I would like this to be your prompt as you are approaching level 3, and you will soon be manifesting this gift. Does that make sense? Oh, okay.
Yes, it does.
Let's see. I think also we need... Bright is effectively taken care of, as is Celine. Because you two are, you're just a bunch of smarty pants. You already went to school. And, you know what? I think Taz pretty much has a good prompt for his path as a barbarian. So, you all are, you all are taken care of here. And so I guess Taz's test will be surviving the night here and learning to grow up and be a strong boy. I will let you all have your interactions and whatnot as you will over the course of the night. If you want to do that in side role play, or when I take the 10-minute break and everything, if you want to stay on camera and talk it out. But I do want to advance the story a little bit beyond this night and this moment. Is that all right by you all, or is there anything you really got to get out there while the main spotlight's on the scene still?
I think I'm good.
I'm also good.
Okay.
I'm good.
And I know at times, guys, this might seem kind of rushed. I don't wish to rush or undermine your role-playing capabilities, though I do want to make sure that we're still, that we're not getting hung up in the same place for too long. So work it in as much as you can, and let me know if there is something that I've missed. Aside from that, though, we have some side roleplay going on, too. All right, so you are going to go to bed. You will wake up in the morning, and sure enough, Taz is just way too stubborn to die. And so he has actually managed to survive the evening. Thank you to Celine's ministrations of at least keeping him dangling on that, on that tightrope of life and death.
Yeah, I mean, it's only about 4 hours and he regains a hit point, so...
Well, yeah, it's mechanically it is what it is, thematically. Are you staying up with him, or are you going to go back down and you're going to have your girls' time sleepover?
Me?
For Celine.
I'll probably... Actually, I do have 2 left rather than just 1, so what I think I'll do is I will cast a Cure Wounds on him, and like after he's nice and situated, I'll cast a Cure Wounds on him so I know that he won't destabilize and bleed out all over the bed during the night, and then I'll go back downstairs.
Okay, Celine, this is going to be a good role-playing opportunity for you as well. When you cast this spell on people, what happens? What is the brand of your cure wounds?
So she basically with Tazray, she'll go up to the wound and she'll examine it for a little bit before placing her hand over the wound gently, not right on it, but just hovering over. And this relatively long string of ancient magical words exits her lips in a hushed whisper. As she's channeling the power of the god of magics and secrets, and of course death, to prolong and give energy back to a being whose time it is not yet, whose time it isn't yet. And as she says this prayer, it's like a dark green energy that's tendrilled with just the little tiniest bit of black would wash over the wound and begin to start closing and knitting things back together.
Does your curative administrations leave some kind of a mark or a scar or a sigil, or what happens to the wounds that you cure? Is it painful? Is it painless? Does it leave a normal scar? Does it leave kind of like a red puckered flesh? What being this cleric, this mistress of death, in you're balancing life and death and you're studying it. What is the cosmetic effect of your cures?
So the cosmetic effect is, I actually like to leave that up dependent on the amount of healing that's actually done. Like dependent on the dice roll. So, for example, if I was to click the cure wounds macro and only roll a 1, and that would be 4 healing, that would, it would close up the wound, but it would scar rather heavily, and it would still hurt quite a large amount. But if I was to roll an 8 and have that'd be 11 healing in this case.
Go ahead and roll it then. And now
so
I want you to narrate with this. I want you to narrate what happens, and then we'll make a note about what kind of a mark, scar, sigil, or whatever is left on Tazray's side.
So, having a look at it, so the wound, like as she says her prayer and the energy coats this wound, it begins to close up, and it'll leave this raised red, like the raised red puckered skin. It won't leave a massively lasting scar. However, at the very bottom of the wound, closest to his bottom half, to his legs, this tiny black mark would appear there.
Like a freckle or a mole?
It would look like that too. It would look like a freckle to the naked eye. But if one were to take a closer look, or to put it under a magnifying glass or something similar, they would actually see it to be the symbol of Ouijas. As a mark that someone of his clergy has done work here.
Okay. Mark of Ouijas. Got it. Thank you for the flavor. All right. So, dun 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 dun. You have recovered in the Pokemon Center, and you all have. Well, no one's come up to your rooms to slit your throats in the middle of the night, so that's a pretty good thing. You get a full 8 hours of sleep if you need it. And from coming from downstairs, There's no sounds of fighting. It's almost like nothing happened last night, right? You can, you rub your eyes, you use the chamber pot, do whatever you're gonna do. You can get a hot bath, and downstairs, looks like things have been pretty well put back together. There's still some broken furniture kind of off to the side, and other parts of it actually seem to be in the fireplace, being used as kindling. And there's also some clients who are downstairs having a cup of soup or something in the morning who are looking pretty beat up. But sure enough, there's a man wearing these crimson or these burgundy and gold robes, and he has found someone who is kind of bandaged up, but is still in a bit of a good mood. They are playing chess in the sunlight. The morning manager does greet you all and tells you that you can have a seat, and that the head chef has made sure to arrange for you a very special breakfast, which will be brought out to you now that you all have come down.
All right, that is good. I will happily take that. I'm going to have a look at something.
Off on the side to one, Bright. While she meant well, it's that same serving girl. It's like, oh, good morning to you. You're looking very bright and cheery. And someone pulls on her skirt and says, "This omelet's undercooked. I want to see the chef." And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I could talk more, but I have to serve the clients."
Hey, we're friends.
And she goes off to serve this very grumpy person in the corner. You all are, well, presuming you're here, I don't know, did any of you slink off in the night? Or Raph, are you still around? Jade, did you wake up in the morning after resting or doing whatever Jade does?
I'm still around.
Okay. You are welcome to have whatever table talk your characters will. We are in day 2 of the 3-day wait for you to get paid by the captain of Lely Welland's Gamble. A breakfast is brought out to you all that has smoked meats, eggs the way that you want them cooked, and you all are welcome to a beverage of your choice. So you will be treated. You're being treated by VIPs by the head chef, and they make sure to let you know that this is coming. All this is coming out compliments of the head chef.
It seems like I missed something last night. I think, did I? No. Yes.
I think we all missed something because I know that Tazray and Raphael went off somewhere, before they came here last night, and I also know that Raphael was acting as the head chef's bodyguard, so maybe that might have something to do with it. I don't know what kind of deal that he made. I would just, make sure that, considering we're all stuck together for the time being, that you don't make any deals that screw any of us over.
Deals.
I'm more confused every time anything happens. I haven't been this confused since I got mixed up between the cities of Stacketall and Rubovar. It's just been terrible. And I talked to Jade, and she told me things, and then I was less confused. But then I was more confused. And then to top it all off, I keep having the same dream. I've had the same dream 3 nights in a row, and it's really upsetting. And it's just, I don't like this town.
As the serving girl comes over to you, and she's sitting down. "Oh, you had a dream, dearie. Oh, I dream of things too. Maybe one day I could leave Mesomasca and go see the world. And what does someone like you dream about?"
Oh, that's a really long story. If I told you, it would probably ruin your whole day.
"Oh, I really don't want that. So thank you." And she just sort of like, she smiles like you're supposed to do in a serving job, like, "Okay, thank you." And she needs to go be somewhere else right now. Apparently, there's a customer in another corner, like wants turkey and cheese. It's some kind of a berry infused milk or something along those lines. And she's just like, oh, it's a busy morning, and she shuffles off.
Bad dreams. Bad dreams.
As bad. Just more scary than bad. Nobody died. At least, not anybody I know.
I'm so sorry. It gets more confusing. It's she stumbles over it for a moment as she starts playing with her breakfast, looking at it, observing it, this piece of meat, and she drops it back in the gravy. I think we're stuck together. So, how do we make ourselves useful? Somebody heard something.
Siphonix, you're down here playing chess with a brawler from last night as well. If you wish, you can interact. Otherwise, if you all are planning on, well, you have a day ahead of you. You don't necessarily have to be anywhere, though. We'll return you back to the town map. Should you all on day 2 now wish to, explore any place, do anything, make plans, you can go from here as you will.
Well, there is the matter of business to be discussed.
Oh. When she says that, I make fireworks.
Everyone, like especially the people who are bandaged and look like they might be missing a tooth or have a black eye, seem really nervous around sudden loud noises.
They have sudden onset PTSD.
Another plate of peas just goes flying.
No, we are not doing that. Not today.
Hey.
Whoever threw that, calm yourself immediately.
Can't tell me what to do.
Raphael, why must you do these things? I'm trying to be civil. Anywho, I'm going to turn to my currently 3 compatriots, because I imagine Tazra's still upstairs recovering.
Yeah. He asks you to bring him up something to eat, and then you say okay, and he says bacon. You're like, okay, bacon. He says like a pound of bacon, and you're like, oh, okay, a pound of. And he said no, and bread. Oh, all right, bacon and bread and cheese, and that goes on for a couple minutes.
But no, she's going to turn to Jade, to Bright, and to Raphael, and she's going to say, I was approached about a job last night that we could do, which might earn us a little bit of extra money. I mean, we're no adventuring party, but I think anything to make our way here in Mesomaska will be useful.
Wonder if this
the
is
job.
how it happened. Yes, job, money. It's important. It's important. Yes, it is. She looks to the rest of the group for a second, but not in a party. So that happened before? Oh, I am so sorry.
It's like, yes, there was peas thrown last night, and I happened to get hit in the face with them, which was unpleasant. Anywho, this job involves going out just outside of town to the north to Flowerfield and retrieving some samples for that man over there. And she will gesture to Sylphonix playing chess with one of the brawlers.
Didn't we not hear something about Brightfield? Brightfield? No, Bright. So about the flower fields. Yes, I'm sure.
Yes, it is a place of weird magic, as far as it was said.
Weird magic.
Which is actually
How weird is
really
it?
fun. I am not sure. We would have to go and look for ourselves. But out of character, that's really bad because 3 of the 4 characters in the party currently are magic users.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun. Oh, joy.
When you ask that question, Jade like pretty much puts her hands in her food as she leans over the table to get right in your face. Really? Weird? How? Please tell me what's weird. What's weird?
Apparently, there's something to do with. I believe it was mentioned. I believe it was mentioned. Who was that? Did someone just interrupt me?
Oh, yeah, Jade going like you paused and went and she's like, where?
Oh, okay. I thought that was one of the Shadowhar Empire soldiers coming up and being like, they was being like, it's just like, oh, hey, I remember you from last night. But no, okay, it's like, I remember seeing something at the arena about it too. Apparently something about surges of magic going off. Something like, wild magic or something. I don't remember the specifics about it, but apparently magic functions very, very weirdly in the flower field. But all he wants us to do is go out there and retrieve some samples, and I'm guessing he wants to study the nature of this wild magic, so as it were. Apparently,
Samples of what? You can't just put magic in a jar. I know, I've tried.
Well, I would say that the flowers would be infused with this wild magic, if it is so prevalent, as it were. I was just getting your opinions on this as to see whether we would whether it would be an idea to actually take this job for the day or not.
Seems okay to me. How much does he offer to pay?
He said handsomely. He hasn't given an actual value, but of course we haven't properly discussed terms of transaction just yet. He's just asked if we would be willing to do it, so we can discuss terms of transaction and things like that before we leave.
Sounds pretty safe compared to everything that's happening in the inn.
Yes, with what happened last night with the peas and the punching and the Tazri getting stabbed in the ribs and me having to save him. And...
Fun time.
How does Coin become pretty and handsome at the same time?
Sometimes they mean the same thing. You can be pretty and you can also be handsome.
In my travels, I've heard handsome mean something quite a large amount different, but that is not something I will speak of.
Jade leans right. He worries me some days.
With this proposed plan, are you wishing to interact with the job giver playing chess? Do you want to get up and just like leave straight away? What would you like to do then if you are deciding to take this NPC up on this quest?
Would like to know more about the specifics. Do we need a certain number of flowers, or certain kind, or certain color, or what?
But
do we
basically,
know?
what we need to investigate and need to collect. We were going to. So Celine was actually going to get up and go over to Sophonix and talk to him about, how much are we getting paid? What are we actually looking for?
Then hang on. We'll do this then. Sophonix, you have just beaten this battered bruiser from last night, and he shakes his head. He says, "Every time, I keep trying. I'm trying to learn this blasted game, and you just seem to be 2 steps ahead of me. Whatever. You won fair and square. I'll see you next time." and he kind of like rubs his shoulder and gets up and leaves. And that's about the time that Celine is coming over to you.
Nice to see you again.
Tis a pleasure.
I presume you are here to talk about the business I proposed to you yesterday.
Yes, quite. I wanted to talk to you about the specifics of that business and the basically the specifics, how much we're getting paid, what we need to look for, what kind of notes that you would like to be taken, things of that nature.
All right. Well, first off, there are two specific things that I will need from that field. The number one is a specific type of flower. The flower is called the Star of Solaris. It's hard to miss the look of this flower. The flower has 5 petals. It varies within different shades of reds to oranges to yellows. Be very careful with it. The petals of the flower are quite poisonous, but they are very good in being a component to procure healing and anti-venom potions. The second specific item that I need to be observed is one of the berries that are produced from the flower. The berry is a gem-like purple. They vary in different colors. Do not touch the colors other than the purple one, because they are also quite poisonous, but the berry itself, particularly the purple one, is used in the production of healing potions. I don't know what the magic in that area has done to them since I have just recently arrived back here, but I would like to study them again to see if they have changed in any way.
Purple have any other uses?
If you are looking for healing, those berries are good in making potions for that. If you eat them straight up, they could produce some minor healing effects, but not that much. The other
Or the
colors,
non-purple?
the others that aren't purple, those vary in strange effects. I possibly need to study some of those as well.
Then some of those we shall gather with extreme caution. Good thing that I do keep a set of tools and things for just such an occasion.
In honor of good faith, and you see Siphenix has a small pouch beside him. He's rummaging through that for a quick second, then he pulls out 2 healing potions and a vial that is a clearish, very clear vial, but it's still a moving liquid, almost like water. And he puts it on the table in front of you. In honor of good faith, I'll give you these 2 healing potions and a vial of anti-venom, in case you need it.
The anti-venom will be very much important. Thank you. Selene will grab the anti-venom, and she'll probably offer the healing potions 1 each to the other 3 for whoever wants to take them. Because, I mean, anti-venom requires someone able to administer it, and, I mean, as a surgeon / doctor, she's probably the best qualified to do so.
But a small warning when you go there. Some plants aren't as they seem. They might be a little feisty if you get close to them.
Celine, this would bring back some memories yesterday of going to the arena with Tazray.
Is it due to the strange magic in the area? Has it brought them to life, perhaps?
It's possible. Need to be studied more.
In the name of science, I'm gonna stick my face in it. But no, oh, what were you saying, Roy?
Your friend over there, he looks to Raphael and says, he should be able to handle it without a problem. Oh, by the way, how is your dragonborn friend?
He is stable and not at any risk of dying from that wound, at least.
Ah,
I attended to him after the night before I went to sleep myself.
very good. I'm glad. If you do bring me back the samples, we will talk about your payment. I guarantee it will be something worth your time.
I would very much hope so. But thank you. I will make sure to keep this in mind, and we shall take a journey out now. Celine would have been taking notes on this. Like about the Star of Solaris, the kind of color,
Okay.
warm, like the five petals, warm colors, poisonous, but could be used for medicine. The berries from the Solaris flower, the amethyst purple ones used in healing potions, and the other colors of berry that might have some very weird and wacky results. Let's hope that the red ones don't cast fireballs.
We have a bag or a little, like a sealed container that we can bring, and hopefully more than one, so that we can keep the different berries and flowers and things separate, so it's not all confusing when we bring them back.
I have I have some of such things in my pack.
Have enough?
Yes, should be enough.
Okay.
We shall we should head out as soon as possible. If it's probably not a good idea to be outside the city at night, so we'll want to do this throughout the day.
With this resolution, before you exit the city, and you are in the northern part of Mesomasca, so technically you're actually going south in the flower field. That's a minor detail, though.
Okay, seven.
Before you do exit the city and go out into the fields to try and pursue this person's request, is there anything that you wanted to do in town? Like, do you want to visit Carcery Market and buy supplies? Do you need to stop anywhere and do anything, or are you going to be collecting your stuff and going out into the field all day?
I'm ready.
Jade is curious to know if this is at all capable of aiding one old soldier to his journey.
Is this just an internal wondering, or are you questioning Siphonix, or...
I think it would probably... I just don't want to eat up a lot of time. You said you wanted to move this along, but yes, Jade will inquire as such.
Of Siphonix about the nature of the berries? I'm
Well,
sorry if I
he's
missed
gonna-
something.
That's quite all right. You said that they're healing of some sort. They're capable of great miracles of magical healing, especially in potion form. She's wondering if the situation the old soldier is in is be able to be relieved at least temporarily till he gets home.
Symphonics?
The purple berries could help in that, yes. Um, the larger the berry, the more potent the healing. I've even seen some results where it makes the person a little bit younger, but not that much. It might help him.
And there's no time to waste. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Just before we do leave, Celine is going to turn to Raphael and is there anything you wanted to do in town before we head out? Because I'm sure we have all the supplies that we need in order to deal with anything that we might find out there.
Raphael's going to look up, pondering for a second, and say, no, nothing I know of.
All right, then we shall head out.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to be leaving the Tumbled Wench, and we're going to head over to Flowerfield. Then this is going to be a good point. Why don't we take a 10-minute break to use the restroom, freshen up, get something to eat or drink, and when we come back, we will have you all leave the city and go out into this wild magic zone, and search for berries and flowers and all sorts of stuff. Sound good?
Okay, I have
Sounds
some
good to
things
me.
to do before we enter the wild magic zone, but like on the way. So we can do that after the break.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Then it is. I have it as 1:04 a.m. My time. So why don't we take? Well, I guess it'd be 11 minutes. Why don't we come back at 1:15 and we'll resume the game then.
All right. I think that works.
Okay. All right. I'll see you in a little bit.
Right. Before you do go, Maddie, I think because of my thing disconnected randomly earlier on in the game, and I think that's why you can't see my camera now. If you just refresh the Roll20 page, that should fix it. So you should be able to see me again.
Sure. Here we go. It has the sound only. It looks like.
Because I mean, actually, you
I can
see everyone
there we go.
else.
Yep, I can see you now. Okay. All right, I'm going to get up, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes, everyone.
Alrighty.